Hi, let's talk about the control statements. Basically, control statements control the execution based on the logic that we have written. So for that we have the if loop, for loop, while loop, uh, which is the basic control statements in Python. So I just written a program for if loop. It's a very basic, very simple one. So what I'll do is I'll just run this program for now, and then I'm going to explain you the logic, the syntax and everything about it. So that way it will save our time and it will be very fast also. So I'll go ahead and run this, press F5. So it opened a prompt for me, shell. So it's asking me enter a number. So if you notice this is the first thing that's happening. This is a print statement, so that is printed here. That's the if loop. So coming here, I have declared a variable n. So what it does is it's accepting a number from the user. So input is a keyword which is going to accept the input from command line. So I have typecasted it to int. So whatever the user ends, the user may enter a floating value or a decimal value. So that will be converted to int, and that will be assigned to variable n. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and I'll just enter a number. So I'll enter 10 and press enter. Once I press enter, it's giving me a result like 10 is greater than 0. So what happens is it enters the if loop. So I have written a condition. Please note, just observe the if syntax. If n is equal to 0 forms the condition basically. So this is the condition. If this is the condition, then you have a colon here. Okay, so once after the colon you have the print statement. Please note that there is an indentation that you have to follow. If you are writing any loop or function or classes, you need to leave the space, because Python will if you write the print statement here, Python will think that you have not written anything under the if loop. So this indentation is very important for else also. Whenever you find a function or a loop or something, it will have a colon like this. So anything after or that belongs to that condition should have an indentation. Notice here I have written one more print statement which does not belong to any of these if else. So it just prints as /n. Okay, so I entered 10 here. So what happened? It checked the number. It took the number from the user. I entered 10. If n is less than 0, is 10 less than 0? No. So it's not doing anything here. It's just coming out to the else part. So it's just printing n, which is 10, is greater than 0. So that is what I had asked it to check. So it's again, this is another example that I have just typed into the same script. So now it's asking me to enter first 3 months of a year in this format: Jan, Feb, March. So I'll just give Feb and press enter. So it gave me an output telling that Feb is the second month of the year. So in our second example, I'm asking enter first 3 months of a year, which is printed here. So as I told you, this is the input. So whatever you put after this input, it will be displayed here and it will be taken as an input. So now I just want the user to enter a string, not a number. So I have just typecasted it to string, and then I have assigned it to name. So now my variable name will have a string that is entered by the user. Now again I have an if loop, if and elif conditions. Now if the entered month or whatever which I have assigned it to variable name, if name is equal to Jan, then I'll print Jan is the first month of the year. Else if is like else if there is one more condition. It's something like a switch statement. Elif the name entered is February. I'm printing Feb is the second month of the year. Likewise, elif name is equal to mar, print March is the third month of the year. So this is the logic. This is how an if statement works basically. Okay, just go through this, have a minute and type this program and try to execute this, and I'm sure it is very easy and straightforward. You will be able to understand. So something new that you learned here is variables, the input, typecasting, int and string. Okay, this one, and the print statement, how to write a print statement, and the if condition. So this syntax is very important. The colon is very important here, even for the else loop as well. So every print will have a parenthesis like this. Okay, so now let's proceed to for loop. I have written one more program just under this. So I just wrote this because we can save some time instead of typing and losing some time out there. I'll just see this hash basically comments the line. I had commented this entire piece of code. Okay, so I'm gonna go say Control S. So we are done with this part. Okay, now let's concentrate on this part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this program again, and then I'll explain you for loop. Okay, so now if when I run this program again, both the programs, both the everything, all the code that belongs to this one will be run. So I'm going to say 5. Okay, this time I'll just enter a number that is less than 0. I'll say -3. It says the number entered is less than 0. Okay, this is what it is printing. So our logic is correct. So this time I'll enter Jan, and okay, Jan is the first month of a year. So now it came to for loop. It's just printed this line here. So what I've done here is I've just taken a variable a, and this is a list basically. It's an array of elements. Okay, when we talk about lists, I'll tell you what all the contents a list can have. For now, it's you can think of it as an array. So I have a list. Okay, a, which has 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate you how for loop works. As I told you, for if, the for loop also has a similar syntax. It ends with a colon. For num in a. So what does this do is it's going to iterate. You can have anything here, for n, for x, whatever you want you can specify. It's going to iterate every numbers in a, like 10, 20, 30. It basically how many numbers. It just takes the index. So and it's going to print. So what is this part doing here is it's just printing the whole array. Okay, it's just iterating through this full array, and it's printing me all the characters. So let's go to the next example. Here I have number 1, num is equal to 1. So I'm just straightforward, I'm just using this for loop. I'm using a variable char in hello. Hello is a string. Okay, so I just told you that you can have anything here. You can have char, you can have x, you can have a, whatever you want. That's just a pointer, that's just a counter basically. So it's just iterates through the loop. So I'm just printing letter num is 1 is character. So and then I'm just incrementing this number. So what does this piece of code do is it is just printing me this letter 1 is h. It is just taking this string hello and it is printing letter 1 is h, letter 2 is e, letter 3 is l, l, o. It's like that. Similarly, this is one another way of printing or traversing a string. So what I have got here is I have a string called Python. Okay, I'm just taking the same for loop. I'm just for every character in the string. It means that for every character in the string, or it can, in this case, for every number in A, it's just like that, the logic. So please note that the for loop syntax is almost similar to the if loop, in the way that it has this, it ends with a colon. Okay, I'm just printing the characters. So when I run this, it's going to print Python here. Okay, so this is very very easy. What you can do is you can try out a few if and for loops before we just proceed to the next sessions, so that you will get some sort of understanding how the loop works. See, there are many things that we learnt in this. Just to summarize, we came to know what is an input, how to do typecasting. Here we are taking an int number. Here we are taking we are converting the user input into a string. And this is the syntax for if. This is the syntax for else, elif. This is the syntax for, and these are the expressions or the logic that comes under this. And please note that there is an indentation here. So, and that's it. I mean, it's very easy. You can just Google for many more examples, or you can write your own examples based on this logic. You can enter all the months, or you can just write your own piece of program. And if you let me know if you have any comments or suggestions, we'll take it up. Thanks for now.